My people, Skywalker is here again. And basically, it's virtually a warning for the black community. As a society, in any black society, United States, Jamaica, everywhere, but I'm speaking from a Jamaican perspective. This Jamaican perspective does affect all black nationalities across the globe. It does not, when you talk about like the white or the European societies, it is a totally different picture. But we do have a problem in our states where we do not look for particular medicines to solve our personal issues. We just take any treatment that the white person is taking. Now the message is, don't connect to your feminine sides. Don't connect to your feminine sides. You know, as a child growing up, and even as a teen and coming up, I have always heard them saying, oh, the men need to connect more to their feminine sides. This is why they need to learn compassion. They need to become more sensitive. The society is having a fault because of it. No, there is a lack of sensitivity across the board, both for men and women. But the lack of the sensitivity did not come about in the black community because they were not connecting to their feminine side. The lack of sensitivity was exactly because of the opposite. People were pushed to dark emotions, and these emotions are earthy, painful emotions that do come from the feminine portals. I will go a little bit deeper into this so that you will understand the different effect on different societies. Now, how did this rhetoric come about? It came again about for two reasons. One, the Europeans who see themselves as plunderers, in a parasitic mode, were trying to weaken other races to plunder. And the same thing that continues today. They are more in a parasitic mode where they feed on the energies of other people. And they use subtle means which are being blatant now, or maybe they are still trying to disguise them, but people are wiser to the lies. So what they did is that they wanted to get rid of the alpha so that omega will be isolated. Like when in a moment when the lion, the powerful male, was missing, the hyena attacked and devastated the females. And as long as you have a effeminate society, the power will be weak. This is why the Bible would refer to a subdued land, a depressed land, an enslaved land as a fatherless, not a motherless, as a fatherless place. Now, we will show you how these energies work, because it might seem contradictory to you, but it is not. Sometimes I always try to tell you that what you see as the opposite sometimes is not. It's just a mere paradox. It's a truth within that same truth. And that truth seems contradictory. But when you understand the entire game, it is not contradictory. Now, for the Europeans, they were plundering from their appearance upon this earth as a let's call it as a race. When they appeared and they were given the war tools and turned into warlords, they were plundering, and in order to plunder, they were taking on more masculine traits, to the degree where if you chat back in history, and see the things that they did to females or the things that they said to females, you would find that a general insensitivity towards their mothers. So there was even a time in Europe. I can tell you some of the problems they faced. Like there was one time where the blonde hair, blue eyed woman would pray that they be sold to the black race, to the Egyptian pharaohs as slaves. Because even when they were sold to the Egyptian pharaohs as slaves and they went to live there, they had better lives and they were treated well. Then again, you have even stages where the female were treated like I don't even want to use words like that, but the European society was in a bad way, even though they were conquering other races. Like for example, a mother would have to be subject to her son. If the son was 6 year old and the husband died, that son was going to be her leader or her master. You see, because she was a female, and just they they talked about the women seven natural faults. They said that to kill a black person or a woman, you don't have to worry because it was not sin. And which means that they were talking about their own mothers too. You know, if if you kill a black person, they said it was no sin, and if you killed a white woman, it was no sin either. So this is how they complete. In fact, there is a history that is not is not. I don't hear they say it much anymore, but at one time it seemed as if the Germanic European society were so homosexual because not wanting anything to do with women, and after war all the time they had become so homosexual that women had to be doing all sort of stuff. The population was going down. Women had to be doing all kind of stuff, trying to attract males, even like putting their breast on the windowsill at the so that hopefully a man would see, you know. So they had totally departed from their feminine side. Okay. And at some point, even closer to this modern era, I would say in this modern era, they seem to notice it because that's where the rhetoric came in, and they have done a lot more for their females, and even to the degree that it's been polarized. Although they polarize it for a particular reason, not to affect the European society, but to affect the black communities. They polarize it to the degree that it would destroy the males and empower the females, which also keeps them effeminate. When your women have power but the males don't have power, it keeps them effeminate. So you see how easy the black race can be infiltrated by using the women. And even if the women understood how these rules work and realized the things they are told and the things they accept, they would, if they knew the magic that is being used, if they understand these spells, they would see that they are actually the they are actually empowering the Adam and Eve syndrome, because it is always get to Eve, get to Eve, get to Eve. And even in the black societies, it's a situation where the black woman blames the black man. She started to blame the black man for the things that the white man did. And there's another thing you need to know. Is that the black man was deliberately broken to become like it effeminate, and these white men, they were so homosexual anyway, so they raped even the black men in front of their women. And this is why even Jamaicans are so up against homosexuality, because they say they buck break them, they turn them into that B word, and they they put them in the place of a woman all the time. And now, in order to make it worse, in Jamaica they create more opportunities for women, falsely telling the people that it will strengthen the economy, but it doesn't. When the men lose power, the economy, no matter how much power you give to the woman, the economy is going down. It is the man's money that's going to drive the economy. The man's money is not selfish money. Um, so there. So let's get into why exactly we come to this rhetoric. We come to this rhetoric because the white man knows that the black man is not motherless but fatherless. All these boys, they have fathers but not mothers. This is why they grow up like females, thinking that the woman is just like them. So they will strike a woman, they'll unalive a child like nothing. And the violence did not come because they were on their masculine side. The violence come because they are too masculine, too emotional, which is a feminine trait. They lose their practicality for feminine hysteria. They were raped or raped or oranges over the period of time. They were disempowered, they were docilified in so many ways, and then told to connect to their feminine sides. I can tell you that many of the black leaders, they don't understand how the societal template works. That soul edifice, they don't understand how it works, and this is why they were chosen. And those that depend on a social studies degree, are actually playing into the hands of the white person, because the problems of the society will come not because they are doing something different. It's simply because they are doing what they were taught to do. So when these black society use Jamaica as an example, then all they did was go to England and took a template for England for the social structure of Jamaica. And I'm going to show you something that's really, really mind-blowing. You know that Jamaican people, they have different experiences from the Europeans. But here they do. They go and take the exact same template that is to empower the European society and bring it to the Jamaican society, which means that they are disempowering the society in perpetuality. Every day you wake up, these things you see will docilify you and effeminate you. For example, when you see that a dreadlocks is a no-no, but you know in yourself that you're black, and the hair of black people really grows in dreadlocks. When you see that you cannot wear your china bumps, that's what they call it, to school. When you see the black Rasta child being shaved in the police jail, in the police lockup, and stuff like that. When you hear that, you can say words like, if you say a word like your ass, you know, no one have a problem. But if you say it in the Jamaican language, your ass, you can be charged by the cops. And even the present prime minister love to threaten the Jamaican people with this thing about it being on the books. The image they took even the doll. When they went to England, they took dolls, they took the bleaching cream, they took the everything that has to do with black inferiority. They took a white guard and They say, here we're gonna build a country because this template was already here. When the Jamaican people, when the black people have a disease, have a sickness, they don't they don't figure out on what the medicine should be. They just go and say to the British, you have what are you treating for today? And he say, okay, I have a medicine for cancer because I have somebody here who have cancer. He takes it and brings it to Jamaica to medicate the person who has syphilis because that's the going medicine. So, for example, if you walk into a store, you can understand that this happens in America, right? But not in a nearly all black country like Jamaica, where you ask the doctor, what's the RDA, what's the daily recommended dosage, and it tells you it is this or that. But you are black, and what he tells you is for a white man. Because do you know that even a vitamin intake for the day, the black man needs more than the white man? But the dosage that is being recommended to you is for the white man. Look, there was a reason why white women use black women to breastfeed their children. She has a child, but she goes there and find a black mother to breastfeed her child because she wants to up the vitamin intake of her own child. You see? So when they tell you that the black person's levels are normal, it is not. And this is the same thing they do with this thing about feminine and masculine side. The men need to reconnect to their masculine sides, and the women must connect to their masculine sides. Right? The women, they are masculinated. They are masculinated. But they still need, it seems like a contradiction here, right? But the entire society needs to connect to their masculine sides. When the men connect to their masculine side, everything will calibrate, it will fall back into place. The women will become feminine again. The women are not acting masculine from the perspective of their masculine side. They are being masculine from the perspective of desperation. Alright? So when the men connect to their... You see, what a lot of people don't know is that a masculine man finds it almost impossible to strike a woman. The moment you hear that a man struck a woman, he is effeminate. He was mostly one of those child that grew up without a father. The father was taken away from him. And this is how these societies grow. Let me show you something too. The men, my community that I live in, for example, let me put it this way. You cannot find a criminal like a gun, a hitman or something like that. You know, you cannot find somebody who do violent crime or stuff like that. If it happens in my community, it has to be someone that came in. What's different from my community? We grew up seeing all children growing up with their mothers and fathers, and hardly ever did you see an argument between both of them, and they lived together until they died. We had no question about our sexuality, no, or about what equality means. That what they teach these women, that being equal means to be masculine. They cannot understand that equality can be involved in people that are different. You are different, but you are equal. So they believe you have to have the masculine trait in order to be. We don't have that kind of confusion among us, you know. When you check the violence that goes on in different communities, most of those boys, most, maybe At least it can't be below 70%. And I'm thinking about close to 90% of these boys. They don't have their fathers. Some have their fathers, but they don't have their fathers. They are being raised by these females. And it has reached a point that now the men that are raising these childs are effeminate themselves, because look, there was a time when they are growing these child to feel like female, dressing them cute, girl stuff and all that. But I am seeing now these men walking around like girls with their children dressing like girls. So it's not, it's actually female. It's actually, if you bring the father now, the father is coming as a female, because the generations turn and reach this way. So we have to connect back to the alpha side, because the society is destroyed that way. They tell you a lot of lies, like for example, they will tell you that, oh, we don't know why these people don't want to work. These men are out there rubbing their, and they tried it. But they found out that working for bus fare and the lunch money is not gonna make any difference for them. This is what is happening. So they do a lot of subtle things, and I always say that the enemy outside has no power over you without the enemy within. Like one trick they will use on you. For years you won't get a raise, and the Jamaican dollar devalues by the second, and then you know that 100 Jamaican dollars last year would have to be represented by 150. So in 2 years it would probably be represented by 300. I'm just giving these, making an analogy then. Yeah, these are not actually accurate figures, but let's say in 2 years it would be 300. But then they give you a raise to $150 and say, see, we give you a whole 50% raise, when actually the 100 that you came from could have to be represented by 300 now. And they tell you this is exactly what they are doing now too. They don't bring, because they think the people are so dumb, and yeah, the people behave dumb, that they won't even see these things. There's a lot of things that we have to talk about. We have to open our eyes to them. The Europeans, they needed to connect to their feminine side because they had different problems. Now, you cannot build a society, you cannot build a state with economics. You have to build the mind of the people. And if this leader from the UNIA, they call him, I think his name is Mr. Golden. His father was once the prime minister. If he's so backward in his societal sense that he is representing Marcus Garvey by begging the Almighty to curse us all day, every day, what is going to happen for us? I heard a conversation between him and Muta Baroka, and I was literally traumatized for a period of time. Now, this man who's supposed to be a UNI leader is trying to contradict the fact that Marcus Garvey is presenting to him how to secure the societal mindset of the people themselves in order to create wealth. How to make them access the wealth that is in themselves. Because you see, when you're building the nation, you have to give the people's selves to the people. You cannot say that, oh, the people are inferior in their minds, but we can solve it with economics. And the most important thing they need now urgently is economics. The most important thing the people need is to repair their heads. Not even reparation money can solve it. Look at how many. Look at the people they call it, the scammers, the chapbackers, the people that chap back. They are not the first ones who were scamming, because you know that the Jamaican government was scamming, looting, extorting, and all that. And now it is so clear that the people can recognize what they are doing, and the youths are chopping back. These youths are chopping back. This is why they use words like reparation, but it's not just reparation against the European. They come and see all these things that the government has been doing to their grandmothers coming right up, and they're not going to take it themselves. Extortion, everything. Everything is happening to them. The churches are doing it. The pastor say, "Oh, you have to give me $5,000. Take back that $500. Give me some money, and you will get blessed. God will bless you by tomorrow." And the chopper, he call somebody on the phone say, send $600 and I'm gonna send you 20 million, and it's just exactly the same thing. Now, the government gets kickback from the huge companies like maybe JPS and stuff, and then when you look at it now, JPS is overcharging a old couple that got a solar system set up. So now the solar system is going to work at least in the day. Let's say it's going to work in the day. But their light bill is tripled after they get that solar system. And you know how JPS is going to explain it? They're going to explain it by the batteries were not perfect. So it worked in the day. They got that energy in the day, but in the night, it's the JPS system that works. So in the night, when they only have one light burning, they are not using a lot of energy. The JPS light have to work, and so the bill tripled. The bill shouldn't triple, it should be less than half. But no one asks a question. The government won't ask, the people will have no one to go to. The government is taking money from people that live in different areas that were developed and improperly dealt with in a formal manner. That the streets, for example, you live in the area, there can be many people living in the area, the government take tax money, and you know that tax money they take is for upkeep, roads and all that. But then they don't do garbage pickup. They don't fix the road. The people have to come together and put in light poles for the JPS to come and use and charge them. But the government actually is taking their money by false pretense, because if you are not doing maintenance, why are you taking maintenance money? That's extortion, that's fraud, that's taking money by false pretense. That's basically scamming, and they are not getting back the benefit. People see all these things happen all day, every day. So there's so many things. Now, back to this golden character. You have to build a nation by a people with a self-determining will, a people that are dependent for definition and have no confidence in themselves, have no wealth. They have no wealth. The wealth comes from inside, Mr. Golden. This is why these people that I touched upon, these scammers, this is why they will have so much money. The money will just go in a minute. Alright? So, if the first thing this child see as beautiful is a white doll, this is what she's gonna be connected with. And if the first thing the people see is a white card, and if all the image that shows that this is the best thing, this is the where the seat of power lies, this is what God looks like, is not them. It is not gonna work, no matter what kind of economics you bring. And anybody who think that is fairly dumb, because you are the curse on your people. And this is what the government does all the time. The men that knows nothing about this, how the societal template work, how the spiritual edifice work, they are the ones in power, and this is how Europe wants it. Just like you are there, Mr. Golden, this is how they do it. They deliberately choose, because whenever they see a leader, because we accommodate it, we allow it to happen. Whenever they see a leader and they know that this guy was born with wisdom of the societal edifice inside of him, they are gonna get rid of him. They're gonna try. Not everyone is a Paul Kagame, like a person who fell through the crack. So our problem is not really with the Europeans, it is with the imposters that we have that serve us. And because they are the effeminate males, that lead us, that are leading us. You think they would allow Mutabaruka to be Prime Minister of Jamaica. I don't think they would. Anyway, my people, that was my piece. I don't want to make the video too long. I will keep coming up every now and then. Peace out.